The beginning. It's exciting. I was telling somebody yesterday. I'm trying to remember who it was. I was telling somebody yesterday. Um, this year feels like kind of like my rookie year. Way more experience, obviously, but the feeling of it all, it's just different. I know whatever reason, a lot of new faces and everything else. I think the outside world doesn't really know. What we're hoping to do, and what we're working for. Kind of. And I don't think anybody had really crazy high expectations my rookie year too. So a lot of that feels the same. It's exciting to be out here with a lot of the same guys though too. Guys like Doug Baldwin. I mean, he's a freak of nature out there on the field. As you guys probably saw some today. Tyler Lockett as well. So many different guys. And the running backs look great. They look healthy and fast and strong. The line looks really good. I mean, Dwayne Brown's a difference maker, I think, in terms of how he plays the game. He's a phenomenal football player. We didn't have him last year, early on in the season, but now that he's here, he's here now. I mean, he just shows up, and just so many other guys. The guys up front looking really good. I think our coaching staff looks great in terms of how they stepped in and have taken a really, really, really good football team and on the past and have continued to help us improve and try to figure out what we can do and challenge us and everything else. So I'm excited, and it's an exciting time, and love football, love being out here with the fans, obviously, just to see the roar of the fans every time you come out here. I wish they could be at every practice and every game, obviously, but it's always just fun being out here.
You talk about the differences with all those guys on the defensive side gone, especially a guy like Richard who does a lot of talking. Do you feel a different vibe in that regard?
Different vibe in what sense? What do you mean?
Well, just that offense, defense intensity, them coming at you that way, like just they kind of carried themselves a certain way.
No, we've always kept it super competitive, and nothing has changed. Obviously losing a Hall of Fame player in Richard Sherman, I got a lot of respect for how he always has played the game in terms of his toughness and his talent, and he practiced every day. He made big plays, so. Guys like Cliff Averill, those guys are hard to replace. Michael Bennett to the world when they made crucial plays. Cam Chancellor, championship player, and leader, and so. But it's a new time, and I think like I said, when I was kind of saying earlier, I reflect back to my rookie year. We were the youngest team in the NFL. My rookie year, I believe it was, and the year we won the Super Bowl, I think we were the youngest team too. And expectation, nobody really knew what was going to happen or whatever. And I think, like I've always said, I really think experience is only necessary for those who are unqualified. And at the end of the day, how you figure out if you're qualified or not is how you show up every day at practice, how you're a pro, how you take care of your business on and off the field, what your mindset's like, how you prepare mentally and emotionally and physically, day in and day out. And do you bring it every day? And I think that for sure these guys so far, we've been able to do that, and that's been great all throughout OTAs, all throughout the offseason. And so far, it's 2 days of camp, and there's a lot more to go. So you judge off of what you just did, and then you move on to the next day.
How does Dwayne Brown and you being able to think in your mind, that side's locked down? How does that?
Yeah, I mean he's a lockdown left tackle for sure. I mean he that helps a big difference, and I think that in terms of his presence, his leadership, his confidence, I mean he's as good as it gets, he's a Virginia guy too, so but I just think that it makes a big difference, and I think with our offensive line, those guys have taken on the challenge, have done a great job all offseason. I think Coach Mike Solari is a tremendous football coach. The meetings we're having, the communication that we're having, I mean, it's good as it gets, and it's an exciting time. So, and like I said, you take one day at a time, but Dwayne Brown's a big part of that, and how he's playing and how he's making a difference. And, he's so in shape, and he can run so well. He's so strong. He's mentally tough. He's, like I said, he's a great communicator, great leader. And so that's crucial.
Russ, on your leadership, is that something you're thinking about now? You've just been here so long. It's just a way of being and how you just carry yourself. It becomes natural.
Well, I think I definitely think it's a natural thing. For me, I obviously playing the quarterback position, but I think that I think that there's a little bit more responsibility just because there's not quite as many guys who have done it, at the highest level yet. And so you use that, you give back when much is given, much is required, And so I think that, like I said, it's not just on me, It's not just on me. It's guys like, Bobby Wagner, a guy who's arguably the best defensive player in the National Football League. It's guys like Doug Baldwin, guys like Dwayne Brown, Justin Britt, even Tyler Lockett, special player, There's so many other guys. And so, but, I do believe that, setting the tone every day from the quarterback position is critical. And doing that on a consistent basis, day in and day out, and never letting up on that. That's something I've always believed, and I hope I've always done, and I know that I always do.
Russell, you talked about new faces. It seemed like you were finding Marcus Johnson a couple times, like he was getting some separation. What have you seen out of him?
Yeah, he's a special player. He's worked hard. He stays late. He gets here super early. He's dedicated. We talked all off season. He makes a lot of plays. Marcus Johnson looks really good so far. He had a great day today. The first day he didn't get that many balls, just because the way the practice was or whatever. He got some, but today he showed up in a big way. Made some crucial plays, down the field. He's so fast, so aggressive to the football. Championship player too, and so that matters. A lot of other guys. David Moore showed up great today. He looked really good. Looked really strong. I could go down the list, but those two guys had a great day today.
When you start to develop chemistry and connection with the receiver, what does that mean? How does that manifest itself?
What does it mean, or how does it manifest?
How does it manifest itself?
Yeah, I think the first way is through communication. I think it's through desire. I think it's through just connection, a constant connection of body language. There's just something different about it, and so a lot of that is through hard work, actually getting the work and physically, going out there and throwing the offseason, doing that stuff, and then translating to when we're in the meetings, communicating in a great way, and everybody's just so tuned in, and it's across the board. It's not just 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. It's across the board, which is exciting, super exciting, and so we're excited about what we can do, and I think that what it does is it really shows up when you come out and the ball's in the air. When like I said, when the whistle's blown, that's when you find out if guys can really play or not. And a lot of guys can play today, and it's exciting.
Russell, are you disappointed Earl's not here, and have you talked to him at all?
Well, obviously I've been around Earl this offseason. I was able to train with him a few times and everything else. I think part of it is, business is business for certain guys, and everything else. And I don't want to get into the details of his situation necessarily. I do miss my brother. He's Hall of Fame, safety, a guy who has a crazy special talent that you can only find once every blue moon. And so you miss him out here. And I know he's training like crazy though. And hopefully he'll come back tomorrow. Hopefully he'll come back down the road. Hopefully he'll come back someday soon. But I know when he does come back. Earl, if you're listening now, it'd be great if you can come back, because he can help us win a big one. But he's just a tremendous player. But at the end of the day, he's got his family and his decisions, and whatever he chooses is his decision. But I think that he's a tremendous player, and hopefully he can come back for us. The good thing is guys have stepped up in a big way. Guys have taken on the challenge, and they're getting that experience. And really stepping in a major role, and it's an important position. You got to have that position, and guys like Tedrick are stepping up. Bradley McDougall stepping up in that position too, playing everywhere. And so you want as many great players as you can have, and Earl is a great player. He's one of a kind talent. So hopefully he'll come back, and that'll be great.
Russ, going back to the receivers, you raved about Doug Baldwin, Tyler Lockett. Jaron Brown is a guy you guys have coming in from Arizona, had a career year last year. How do you see him fitting in? Obviously there's a gap there without Paul Richardson now. How do you see things going with him and the connection that you guys are developing so far?
Well, Jay Brown's done a great job. Coming from Arizona, they throw the ball a lot. He makes a lot of crucial plays. I think he had 800+ yards, several touchdowns. He's special. He's what JB has. He's got a great poise to him. He never panics. And I love that about him so far. He's got just a quiet confidence that, but yet a ferociousness when he plays. You can tell. He gets great separation. He's got a big play mentality. He's great with the ball after the catch. so he can do some big things for us.
Your QB to QB show, your mentoring, did that teach you at all about, appreciate coaches and make you a better quarterback?
Well, honestly, the QB to QB thing is a good question. I think with the QB to QB thing, the thought was not necessarily to really coach the guys up. I'm still learning. I'm still working on my game and everything else every day, and that's what you try to do when you're trying to be great every day. I think more so than anything, I wanted to be able to, give my experiences and allow that to. For their best opportunities, whenever they get their opportunity, whenever it may be. And as you saw, it was different guys. You had Baker, obviously you had Saquon, you had the different guys, And so when you think about that, you really want to kind of, for me, my ultimate goal was just to share my experiences and whatever they wanted to learn and ask and stuff. And there's also some cool stuff, you guys didn't get to see, but just it was just a really cool experience. And so. What these coaches do on a daily basis, they got a lot of respect for coaches because they're here all day. I'm here a lot, but these guys are here, till 10 o'clock at night, almost every day. So I have a lot of respect for our coaches and how they put the work in, and even their families, and what the sacrifice is. And so I'm glad I get to play right now, that's for sure.
Like Paul is finding David Moore a lot today. What do you see that him coming into the second half?
He's super explosive, getting to the football. He makes a lot of great plays. He's really understanding what we're trying to do, David Moore is. And he just looked great today. And the key is just adding up the days. Each guy letting the days add up and figure out how far we can take this thing and really step up to the challenge. And guys are really looking forward to that. And he's one of those players that all offseason he's been talking about it, thinking about it. And he's hungry for the football, and so that's great.
Do you get a sense that guys are motivated differently when they're in the underdog role as opposed to when the outside expectations are higher?
Depends on what type of competitor it is. Nothing ever changes. It doesn't matter. I don't really listen to the outside, and that's what I mean by what depends on what type of competitor. I think, for me, I guess. For the most part, people have always kind of thought me as an underdog or whatever, I guess. I don't know. And so I never really pay attention to it. For me, I just want to perform every time I step on the field. I want to be the best in the world every time I get a chance. I want to overcome situations. I want to be in the moment when I get to be in the moment and never really waver from that. And I think that's part of the reason I've been fortunate to be successful. And that doesn't just happen overnight. It's something that you have to work at every day. And so circumstances are going to change. Circumstances in life, circumstances in sports, circumstances on your team, circumstances in general, the weather, the day, the whatever, And at the end of the day, your thought process on trying to be great should never change. And I think that's, our mentality and whether underdog, I don't know what you call it, overdog, top dog, whatever, favorite. It really shouldn't change. We come out here to win every day, and the whole reason why you come out to practice, the whole reason why I get to play the game and everything else is to win the whole thing and do everything I can to help our football team do that. And each guy does that same thing. So there is no other option.
Is there one area of your game that you look back on last year that through talking with Brian Schottenheimer, Coach Carroll, that you look at and put focus into this offseason saying, I want to get better at X, or this is something I feel like I want to take a stride in again this offseason?
I don't mean to be boring, but I always say this. I think it's always just the footwork stuff. I've always had, good footwork and stuff like that, but I think, if I can find 3 plays a game, how much more would that do? Can I find 4 plays a game, 5 plays a game? Can I find hopefully just 1, And so that little detailed, meticulous focus is everything to me. It's like a great free throw shooter. If you're trying to be a great free throw shooter, you have to keep your elbow in. You got to focus on the details. You got to have the same rhythm. So all that I think is crucial. Same thing with great hitters or golfers or anything. And so for me, I'm always looking for more. I'm always looking for the fine details of everything, yet still being natural, still being who I am, and still being competitive and not overthinking. The one thing I don't want to do is overthink. You don't want to overthink when you're hitting a golf ball. You don't want to overthink when you're trying to, pitch a fastball or whatever. You want to play ball, and but how you get rid of the thinking is how you train and how you every play getting coached. Then when you go out in the game, let it happen and just trust. And then when you go back and look at the tape, hopefully all of them have been great. And that's just kind of my thoughts. So it's been great. I think Coach Schottenheimer has been tremendous so far. He's I love his enthusiasm, his dedication to the game, the way he translates and communicates. He's heavily involved in every detail. Like I said, Coach Solari is tremendous as well. Those two guys have been great, and so it's gonna be a great joyride, and I'm looking forward to the journey of it all.
Of all the things you did over the off season, I think we saw you in 3 different continents over the break, I should say. What was the highlight?
Well, I was fortunate. Going to London was pretty cool because got to go to the Tottenham Stadium. I'm not sure if we're still going to play there or not, but hopefully. But that was really cool, going to London. Then going to China was great. Went to China last year, and that was really cool. Just getting to play football with the kids. Football is really growing there, and so I got to play football with a lot of the young kids and older kids. My favorite thing about Africa, though, we went on our honeymoon. I put this on my social, but I'm not sure if you guys know or not. But so Sia and I were talking, and it was like, she was like, we went somewhere for like 4 days, but that didn't really count, So it's got to be 7 days or more. So I was like, all right, let's go somewhere. So I've always wanted to go to Africa. I've always wanted to go to Cape Town. She's been a bunch, but the best part about Africa is going to the townships. So we went to the townships, and one of the coolest things was seeing the joy on these kids' faces when they didn't have anything at all. And I think about just in America and I think about our own personal lives that we all live. And when I see somebody who's 10, 13, 14, 15 years old who has nothing but yet can still live a life of full joy and happiness and just love dancing with Sierra or love throwing the football. They've never seen football again. Their curiosity and watching these kids throw a ball when they'd never thrown it before was fascinating to me, and how good they were. They're throwing spirals in day one. And to be able to throw with them, that was the most gratifying thing probably I've ever experienced. Seeing a kid walk out with cancer probably was the most gratifying thing. But that right there, just seeing kids with joy when they have absolutely nothing, financially, or may not even have parents or whatever it is, that was pretty cool. So, I was grateful for that experience.
Did you go to Vic Falls? And
Say again?
Did you go to Victoria Falls?
I didn't get to go to Victoria Falls. We went to Cape of Good Hope. That was really cool to see where the Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, crash into each other. That was pretty awesome. Went to Table Mountain. Went to a bunch of places. Went to Botswana. Went to Madikwe. But those were really cool experiences. Seeing the lions up close in person. I asked the guy. I said, if I get out of this truck right now, will this lion attack me? He said, take your head off. They'll take your head off. And so that was pretty. I mean, I'm literally close from me to Art. I mean, I'm this close to the lions. So that was pretty. That was pretty crazy to think about.
Did you just walk the villages?
Say what?
Did you just walk the villages, the streets? How'd that go?
Yeah. We just walked around. We had security people around, but I think we try to live normal as possible. I think that when you care for people and, you try not to draw too much attention, but, I think Sierra's more known than I am there. That's for sure. But I think that when you just care for people, people don't bother you, or you're not worried. I'm not, over worry or anything like that, Yeah, I did. I was kind of surprised, actually, honestly. South Africa and just Africa in general, there's a lot of different people from all over. But, it was an amazing experience, honestly.
Do you have any thoughts of driving a helicopter? Because, that's some pretty cool area. Getting a helicopter.
We took a helicopter and stuff like that and did that. That was going over the safaris and stuff. And, the other thing was the rhinos. The rhinos was pretty amazing. Taking the DNA of the rhino and seeing, because these poachers are literally, they're killing these rhinos and taking their horns and they're selling it for, $4 million rand, or whatever, and $200,000 in USD or whatever, and however much it is, and these animals are just. it's crazy to see. So, anyways, to be able to microchip these rhinos was pretty fascinating too. I didn't mention that part. That was pretty amazing.
Did you pin him down? How did you microchip a rhino?
Well, it's a good question. I tackled it, ran it down. No, they safely, with the veterinarian and everything else, they safely dart the rhino safely, and then so that way it's still, the heart's beating and everything else, but they fall down gently, and then you have about, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes, I guess. I don't know, something like that. And they cover up the eyes just for the sun to make sure they don't mess up their eyes and everything else. And then you take the DNA, you get their hair, get their blood, and everything else, and you're able to put a microchip in their, without saying too much, you can put a microchip in their horn essentially, and that way, if somebody steals their horn, you know where they are. Or if the rhino's running around and something's going on, they can track the rhino. So there's a Zahir and there's a princess running around, and named after our kids, and so that's kind of cool.
Sorry, I couldn't let that go, right?
Yeah, no, I know.
Did you say honeymoon? Is that because you didn't have a long one after?
No, we didn't really have a long one before. So and sometimes we're both busy at the same time. So yeah, it was a good time, and it was great.
Is that your design? The shoes?
Yeah, the Seattle and the Seattle skyline and the Mount Rainier on the inside. So yeah.
Kind of getting back to what the season brings up, when the LA Rams have made a lot of acquisitions across the offseason, when a direct rival loads up the way they have, what goes through your mind?
Got to still snap the ball and play, and you look forward about the opportunity. So, you don't want the game to be easy. You look forward to the tough challenges. There's some great football teams in our own division that we have a lot of respect for. Every time it's always a battle, and that's never going to change. So, we'll be ready to compete, and hopefully we can do something special.
Michael Bennett said in the offseason that players are around coaches for 4 or 5 years. Sometimes the message is very familiar, kind of to the point of staleness. Is that fair? Is that true in your experience?
No. Some people may call it staleness. I call it consistency. I think, for me, I think that, we've had in the past, we've had some amazing joy rides. We've been able to do a lot of amazing things. We've had a couple of tough moments. But at the end of the day, what I do know about all the teams I've been fortunate to play with and all the guys I've been fortunate to play with is every single one of those guys laid it on the line. From guys like Michael Bennett to Cam Chancellor to Richard Sherman to guys who didn't play very much to guys who only was here for a day to the one thing I can say is every single person to every single coach, I gave it everything we've had, and that's the thing that I love about my experience so far for the Seattle Seahawks, is that I can say that literally every game I know that nobody's ever given up, or doubted that we could win, and so hopefully that never changes.
All right. Anything else, guys? Thanks,
Yeah.
Russ.
Thanks, Russ.
Thanks, Russ. Thank you.